Today, I have a podcast for you that's all about the end. I hope you can stick around until the tail end, because by the time we are at the end, you'll know the difference between in the end and at the end. That should put an end to your confusion. Let's dive in.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 789, The End. English is a language rich in idioms and figurative expressions. This makes the language both interesting and complicated at the same time. Today, let's look at some common conversational phrases that use the word end. We'll start by looking at the end and in the end, two phrases that can be hard to get. So, let's get the ball rolling. At the end. We use at the end when we want to talk about the final part of something, like a book or a movie or even the day. Like, I always feel tired at the end of the week. At the end of the movie, the couple got married and lived happily ever after. That's at the end. The final part of something. You're describing a specific point where something finishes. Now, in the end is a bit different. In the end is used to talk about the final result of a situation, often after a long process. When you say in the end, it's like saying finally or after everything. Like, they worked hard on that project and, in the end, they achieved their goal. Last weekend, I couldn't decide whether to clean out the garage, clean out the closets, or clean out the attic. In the end, and with the help of two of my buddies, I got everything done. In the end. It's a great phrase to use when you're telling a story or explaining a decision. Next, we have a dead end. When you're driving or walking, a dead end is a road that doesn't go anywhere. And as an idiom, we use dead end to mean a situation where you can't make any more progress. Like, I've tried everything to get my computer to work faster, but I just got to a dead end. I guess I'm just going to have to upgrade from Windows 98. Tommy tried everything to get that new customer to sign the contract, but they just reached a dead end. And let me tell you something, the boss wasn't happy. And speaking of bosses, we have the phrase a dead-end job. When someone has a dead-end job, it's a job that has no chance of promotion or improvement. Almost 15 years ago, I quit a dead-end job at a language school and started my company, Happy English. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons that I quit that job was because I was at the end of my rope. When you are at the end of your rope, you feel frustrated or you don't have any more patience. It's like saying, I can't handle this anymore. I'm at the end of my rope. After dealing with my new, noisy neighbors for weeks, I'm at the end of my rope. The next time they have a wild party at night, I'm going to call the police. And I'm pretty sure that calling the police on those guys is going to put an end to my troubles. Put an end to something means to stop something completely. Like When I was 25, I put an end to my cigarette smoking habit. Boy, am I glad I did that then. Recently, in New York City, they started something called congestion pricing, which is like a toll for driving your car in the main part of the city during the day. According to the news reports, it seems like that put an end to a lot of traffic. The next one on the list is end up. We use end up when we talk about finding yourself in a situation, often without planning it. Like, last night I couldn't decide what to cook for dinner, and so I ended up down the block getting some pizza. What did you end up doing for dinner last night? You know, I often talk about my coworker Jack, and he's always coming to work late. Well, yesterday he missed an important meeting with a client, and the boss told him that if it happens again, he's going to end up getting fired. And now, we're at the tail end of this lesson. The tail end. An animal has a tail, right? And the tail is basically at the end of the animal. So, we use the phrase, the tail end, to refer to the last part of something. Like, I caught the tail end of the comedy show on TV last night, but it was still great. And I remember when we were kids, my father would take us to the baseball game. He always wanted to leave the stadium at the tail end of the game to avoid the traffic. Keep in mind, the best way to remember vocabulary like this, and any other word or phrase in English, is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. Hey, did you know you can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group? There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 788. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible. And I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.